13 unarmed people gunned down by the police armed with assault rifles. Their crime was that they had gathered to agitate against the Sterlite copper plant accused of polluting the area. Chilling footage has now emerged of how an unprepared Tamil Nadu police reacted with brute force to crush dissenting voices on Tuesday. A small gathering of protesters swelled to thousands as public anger over the proposed Sterlite plant expansion boiled over. As the state's intelligence unit failed, the police called in a special corps who mounted their assault rifles on trucks, took aim and fired indiscriminately from a vantage point. Mirror now confronted the police and asked why was brute force used to contain the protests. The police offered us no answers.
It's a simple question, sir. Who gave you the orders to fire upon the peaceful protesters, sir?
No, we are attending law and order. We'll tell you. Okay, thank you.
But no state government officials are giving any response, sir.
Thank you very much.
Their cries would have gone unheard, but after being the only channel to cover the protests extensively on Tuesday, our reporter travelled to Ground Zero, Tuticorin, where the situation continues to be tense.
Well, let me show you this particular region. This is a collector's office and this is Ground Zero where exactly this violence broke out. This is a kind of place where you have only one way to enter and leave. There you could see on those visuals, those are the actual window glass shards that was broken by the alleged protesters at this point. And this is the reason the cops and the government state they had to resort to firing.
As Tuticorin stares at another tense night, Mirror now asks, who ordered police firing on protesters? Why did the police use automatic weapons on protesters? Why was protocol not followed before shooting at protesters? The debate begins now.
Watching the urban debate on Mirror now, Faye D'Souza. The focus, like we started yesterday, is very simple on human rights and the violations that are taking place in Tuticorin right now. Heads are beginning to roll after that massacre. The Tamil Nadu government, we understand, has transferred the superintendent of police and the collector. And my colleague Pramod is on the phone line right now because the internet has been suspended in all of Tuticorin at this point this evening, and Pramod can no longer join us live, even though he has the camera and the live view at this point. This is possibly the situation with all the reporters from other channels as well. Pramod, thank you for joining us. Can you tell us what the immediate or final information is at this point?
Well, at this point, as you mentioned, the last update we are getting over here is that the collector and the SP have been transferred from the location. The order has come forward stating that they did not do well in trying to control this particular protest that is on 22nd May, where as far as now 13 people have died. The fact is that it's very kind of confusing how the chief minister was going ahead and trying to take the side of the authorities. He released a statement yesterday claiming that it was necessary because they had no other goal. They had to control the mob, and then we had the other DGP also go ahead and say the same kind of notice. And right now, the collector and DGP, the SP has been suspended. So it is definitely raising a lot of questions on that point. And not just that, the area, the collector's office has not been cleaned right now, and it is also being said police have been called on in various locations. If I had to give you the names, there are certain areas which are still tense when it comes to Tuticorin, starting from Anna Nagar, Fatima Nagar, 9 Points, Lion Gates. These are the locations, including Teresa. These are the fishermen hamlet also around the place where police have been placed in large areas. We spoke to people, and the people claim it very simple. The only solution for this to come to an end is that the cops have to leave the location, because there are visuals where the cops also trying to resort to violence, and they say that if and only the cops leave this location, this will become peaceful again, and there is no other go. For now, Collector of Tirunelveli has been transferred to Tuticorin, and the SP of the Nilagiri, who is Murli Ramba, who was the one who handled this Jayalalitha's resort case where there was a burglary 6 months back. He has been transferred to Tuticorin right now.
All right, Pramod, many thanks for joining us. Pramod is, of course, our correspondent who is in Tuticorin, or Tuticorin as it's called, right now bringing us updates. The collector of Tuticorin has been transferred, and so has the superintendent of police. But that's not good enough, because what these people did yesterday was not crowd control. It was murder. We bring you this visual right now, viewers, that has surfaced today, that we have access to, that we have verified. And you're looking at this visual on your screen. You can see the police have dragged one young man out into the street. Listen. Where the police, you can see the visual where the police have dragged this young man who has obviously been shot out into the part of the street, and they're kicking him, prodding him and saying, stop acting, stop pretending that you're hurt, get up and walk away. It's done now, stop pretending. Don't act anymore. We know for sure that this young man, shortly after that, passed away. Zero protocol is being followed. Is this how the police deal with injured people from a riot? Kick them and tell them to walk it off? Where's the ambulance? Where is the paramedics on backup? Viewers, this is all part of the system. And the visuals that we're looking at on our screen point out to us over and over again that the system was flouted and the police were not following the rules. The police, for example, before they use any sort of force, are first supposed to make announcements on loudspeakers to everybody in a language they understand that we are going to use force, after which they're supposed to use water cannons, they're supposed to use tear gas, neither of which we have seen any visuals of them using. And even after that, if the crowd doesn't come under control, the police is supposed to fire in the air. There is no confirmation even from eyewitnesses that the police fired in the air. After that, the last step is to shoot at the ground or at the lower half of someone's body so as to minimize damage. What you see here instead, this shocking visual is of a police officer with an assault rifle who got on top of this jeep that was then driven into the crowd, and he literally took aim and shot at protesters like shooting fish in a barrel, which is why so many of them had injuries and gunshot wounds in their heads and their chests. Every rule in the book has been violated, including in the visual that we saw today. The state government has no excuse. No excuse. Mr. Muralidharan Rao, supporting the AIADMK, C.R. Saraswati, spokesperson of the TTV Dinakaran faction, N. Ram is the senior journalist, Arun Ram, resident editor of the Times of India in Chennai, Vikram Singh, former Director General of Police, Uttar Pradesh, and Chandra Bhushan, Deputy Director General of CSE. I welcome all of you to this conversation. First to Mr. Vikram Singh. Mr. Vikram Singh, you saw the visuals that we just showed you. Sniper rifles or assault rifles on top of a truck, taking aim and firing at protesters. What is this country? This is not India. This is not how India functions. Is any of this as per police rules?
Faye, as you very rightly mentioned, that this is a violation of every statute and every clause of the rule book. And you just never use AK-47s and 7.62 SLRs in civil disturbances. Was it the Veerappan operation? Is it a disturbed area? Are you somewhere in the northeast or Kashmir that you are using 7.62 SLRs, telescopic sights, infrared aiming devices? Are you preparing for war? In any case of such civil disobedience and such agitations, there is a protocol. And you mentioned it. First, warn in the language that the people understand, use water cannons. Fails, then warn again, use tear gas. If that fails, warn again, mild lathi charge, that too below the waist. If that fails, warn, use rubber bullets, and rubber bullets also to be aimed below the waist, not on the third button or the solar plexus or in between the eyes, because even that can be fatal. And if it has to be fired, it has to be controlled and regulated firing, ordered by the senior most police officer or by the magistrate after due warning that yes, third man from the right, aim and hit below the knees and see just one round and see what the impact is. This has never happened, and no recourse to ambulance, first aid or hospitalization. This is just not by the book at all, and it was a free-for-all. And I would say that the police has been caught on the wrong foot, being in a vindictive mode. It is seldom that the police is seen in a vindictive mode, and if they are, I don't know what their reasons were, but obviously there were horrible instructions, illegal instructions that they were carrying out, and I would not like to believe what I'm saying. Yes, a sniper is used in a state of war, not in civil disobedience. It reminds me of Jallianwala Bagh and General Dyer, and not of a police that is of independent India.
Mr. N. Ram, senior journalist, joining us right now via Skype. Mr. Ram, thank you for joining us. Unfortunately, we've seen so many protests take place in Tamil Nadu over the last couple of years, but this one is a question for every Indian to ask, because protesting is our democratic right. And if the police is going to shoot at us from the top of a truck and not a single shot was fired on the other side, none of these protesters were armed, they had stones, but nothing more than that. Has the Tamil Nadu government ordered the killing of its own people?
Yeah, I think we have to ask that question, because they kept quiet, they didn't respond in time, and then the brutality. I think it's more than just brutality. There seemed to be a nexus, because this company, Sterlite has been, Vedanta Sterlite has been fined for violating laws, environmental laws. There seem to be, the police, the bureaucracy or elements there seem to be hand in glove. Otherwise, it's inexplicable how this was allowed to happen. And I think the state government and also a BJP leader put out a story that, a conspiracy theory that some elements were behind it.
Yes.
So who are the people supporting these lawless acts, and above all this brutality? This, I think, it's now going to escalate. This cannot be contained anymore, and I don't see how this plant can ever reopen.
Arun Ram, it's very interesting. The CEO of Sterlite Copper spoke with our sister channel, ET Now, and actually said that the plant has been closed for maintenance and it will open in 2 months. We have absolutely no fears of missing our guidance on the quarter, which means that they don't even feel their profits will be affected by this protest. But people have died, and it seems like, and correct me if I'm wrong, is the Tamil Nadu government at this point batting for Sterlite more than it is for its own people?
I'm not sure, Faye, who the government is backing, but I'm sure that if there is no sign of a government at all. I think the whole police firing, what it signified was that there is no political leadership. That's a scary thing. Because, it happened yesterday, 10 people fell to police bullets, and then we thought if it was just a one-off case, it couldn't happen. It couldn't have been a one-off case. And again, another person was gunned down today. So there seems to be no method in this madness. It only reflects that there is no political leadership in the state. Just imagine, just a couple of years ago, when Jayalalitha, or for that matter, anybody else was in power, there was a system of taking an order. There was some system in place whenever they were. Tamil Nadu has witnessed in the early times, many years ago, such killings. There have been firings. There have been the Manjula incident when 17 people chased by police fell into Tamarabarni river and drowned. There have been such cases of mass killings in the state, but never before probably there was such an incident recurring on a second day. Again, a police firing recurring on the second day and killing another person. I think that is a scary proposition, which shows that there is no system, there is no flow of order in the state. So probably the policemen and police officers think that they're law unto themselves, and there is no political master who is powerful enough. I think that is more important than whether the government is supporting the company or not, about which I'm not sure about.
Mr. Muralidharan, sympathizer with the AIDMK, has the government of Tamil Nadu violated the rights of its citizens, massacred its own people, and taken the side of corporates instead of its people?
One thing, we don't know what exactly happened because there are no reports which has come out, Faye. But one thing I would like to tell you is...
The entire media, national media has been reporting for 2 days. What do you mean you don't know what happened? We've been reporting it for 2 days. I'll send you videos.
No,
How do you not
there is
know
no
what happened?
confirmation. What I'm saying, I'm talking about reasons why they used a sniper. What was the reason to kill so many people? These are things which we need to await. Now, having said that,
Mr.
now,
Muridhar,
coming back
Mr.
to
Vikram
the
Singh has
alert
just told
on
us,
the-
Mr. Vikram Singh, I'm sorry, has just told us they couldn't possibly have been a good enough reason for the police to do this. No reason will justify this. None whatsoever. It's not in the manual. Nowhere is a police officer told he can behave in this manner. Unless you're telling me that is not a police officer, in which case this is a completely different story.
Absolutely, Faye. It's like we're sitting in a drawing room and telling how Dhoni should play, because Dhoni is in the field and he's the right person to take the decision. If the collector and the operator of police have taken a decision, and they are answerable, I'm sure that is also taught in the police. One. Second is
no,
we're coming
absolutely
back to
not.
this.
I'm sorry,
The
Mr.
judge
Muridhar.
who pronounced
Mr.
the
Muridhar,
verdict today,
I will
he
not
had
be.
alerted-
I will not take that condescension that we are telling Dhoni how to play a cricket match. When Dhoni loses a cricket match, nobody dies. Here, 13 people have died in the last 2 days. Secondly, we are not armchair journalists. We have here a senior retired police officer, 2 senior journalists, a journalist on the ground right now, and visuals that are damning to the police. We know that what he's wearing is a T-shirt of the special ops in police in Tuticorin. Whose orders were they functioning on? And if you are telling me the superintendent and the collector were doing their job, then why were they transferred today?
That's exactly what we need to know. That's what we don't know, right? So the superintendent of police and the collector, who has magisterial powers, have taken this decision. So they are answerable. One. Second is, the same judge who pronounced the verdict today, he has alerted the government, saying that there's a possibility of Naxal unrest, and there are not Naxal, sorry, there's the crowd unrest. Also, there are certain radical elements which are trying to play in. Now, this was alerted by the judge who pronounced the verdict today. Unfortunately, it's the police and the intelligence have failed there. Now that's something which we need to accept. So what went wrong? They didn't expect a crowd of this proportion. The reason is the factory is shut from April 10th and there's nothing happening. And the second plant which was supposed to be constructed is also held up by the High Court, Madurai bench of Madras High Court. So the government, what I feel, this is my guess, okay. Now what I feel is they did not expect a problem of this proportion. Right? They didn't expect the radicals or the separatists
The
or
radicals
the
or the separatists. My big words. Big words, Mr. Muralidhar.
1 minute.
Now, so are you telling me,
Give me I'll give you an example.
if they're radicals and separatists, you can shoot them?
Today there are videos.
You'll shoot them. So
No,
based
there
on my
there
political
there are
beliefs,
videos
you'll
today
shoot me.
Where are people are. Can I tell you one thing? Today we also saw videos where 4 or 5 people beating up a single policeman, and another video, few individuals are carrying a policeman who's hurt. So there were good people and there were rogue elements.
So did you know who you were
Now,
shooting
these
when you
rogue
shot
elements,
at
how
them?
did they come into this protest?
So did you
which
know
was
who you were
peaceful for
shooting? So
100
you said
days?
there are good people and
who
there are rogue
instigated
elements.
these rogue elements to come into
Were
the-
your snipers able to tell whether they shot
Exactly.
good people
And
or
how
rogue
did these
elements?
rogue elements come in? Who brought them in?
Who shot
Now,
them?
That's the conspiracy.
Oh, come on.
Now that's what investigative journalism has to go and find out.
Oh, please. So you will shoot your own
the government has
citizens
failed,
and you want to
that's your
challenge the
responsibility to
journalists
bring
to
out all
find
the
out why you did it? What is this? Some twisted board game?
Why not? Now, if you're accusing the government, why not you do that? If you're accusing the government, why not you do that?
Mr.
Prove
Vikram
to
Singh,
the
do you want to
whole
respond
world
to this?
that, there's something wrong and there's no radicals, there's no separatists.
Even if they
This is
were
peaceful
radicals
protesters who
and
turned violent
separatists, you
overnight.
don't shoot them. Have you not read the Constitution? Mr. Singh, please.
You don't shoot them. That authority is with the superintendent of police and the collector.
No, it is not.
They need
Faye,
to
if I
answer.
may, if I may,
Why
if I
don't we
may.
ask them? They've been transferred.
Faye, if I may, Mr. Muralidhar is working on assumptions and hypotheses, and the police have been caught on the wrong foot in the sense
Yes,
that they had
because
no
we have
anticipation
no data.
and the advanced intelligence was just not there. And since there is no data, you cannot just shoot in the dark and take the alibi that there was reports of radicals and I don't know, terrorists or whatever, but still that does not absolve you of your conduct, The police are not supposed to take pot shots like that. The police are supposed to do their homework. The police are supposed to neutralize the anti-social elements, and in a manner that is discreet as it is permitted in the rule book or by the rule of law. You just cannot take an automatic weapon and take a lying and a battle crouch position and pump the magazine on helpless people. This is just not done.
And Mr. Singh, where in the police book does it say that if the person is a separatist,
I agree with you, sir.
that it is okay to shoot them?
There it is nowhere. I mean, the police is supposed to be resilient, to be tolerant.
With due respect,
and in fact, the coaching is, even if you get a brick bat or two on your person, even if you get a brick bat or two on your person, you start bleeding from the nose or from the mouth, please take pains to ensure that you are tolerant and you don't hit back. Police is not supposed to hit back. Even when they are hit, even when they are attacked, they are supposed to be very, very tolerant. And used force is selective, it is proportionate, it is never excessive. In this case, it is excessive. It is disproportionate, and it just cannot be condoned. The rule book says if it is disproportionate and extends beyond when any person is threatened. In case the sniper was not threatened at all, he was under no threat. And the very fact that he used an automatic weapon in a battle crouch position, taking aim on the solar plexus and in between the eyes, it is bad enough. I really don't know. I have never seen anything like this ever in a civil disturbance. In a disturbed area,
Yes.
in a Veerappan operation, in a disturbed area, yes, by all means, requisition the snipers, but certainly not against helpless and unarmed people, even if they are carrying brick bats.
Hey, and this,
yes,
is the most
Mr. Rao.
this is the most outrageous defense of the indefensible of brutality of murder that we've ever heard. And this is, because there are visuals, there's evidence of policeman shooting in cold blood, using a weapon he should never have been given in this situation. Secondly, how do you account for the death of a 17-year-old girl and a newly married civilian? These are they radicals? And so on. And this kind of conspiracy theory is pulled out. And if this is the government's position, nobody can save this government.
C.R. Saraswati wants to come in. Ms. Saraswati, go ahead, please.
Yeah. First, I want to pay my deepest condolence to the family on behalf of AMMK, on behalf of Mr. MLA T.T. Vidyanagaran. I have two questions to Mr. Muralidharan. See, a Dhoni playing a cricket in a ground and the police killing innocent people are the same? He said, have you seen some visual? As Mr. Ram said, have you seen a visual? A 17-year girl expecting her results today. They are shot in her mouth. A bullet came from her head. Who gave them the order? Who told them to shoot like that? They are not terrorists. They are innocent people. They are fighting for the rights. They are fighting for the children. They are fighting for the future. They are fighting for the next generation. If the government gets, if they have a bad elements in it, what the government duty to do? Catch them. Arrest them. Do it on a duty. This is the government's duty. What Chief Minister is doing? What Deputy Chief Minister is doing? Till this minute, Chief Minister and Deputy Chief Minister never opened the mouth. They never said anything to the people. Giving 10 lakhs cash and giving a job, do you think the life will come back? What Edapadi Palisamy is thinking is, if anybody dies in my period, I'll give them money, I'll give them job, that's enough. So they think life is just for money and work, that's all. They're not bothered about the children. They're not bothered about the future. They're not bothered about the next generation. First, this government must answer who gave the rights. See, yesterday, one more thing. The collector was not there in that Tuticorin yesterday. They know very well. All the 3 months of protest was very calm and quiet. The 100th day, they said they're going to have the protest. Why the collector left the town? Why he went to Koilpatti for a function? What is the duty of the collector to be there? Where was he yesterday? Why the government is not answering? Just answering them is enough? Without the permission of Chief Minister holding the Department of Police, how can they shoot more than 12 people? The numbers are not come out yet. It's not 11 or 12, it is more. They are hiding it. It's a planned murder. It's a planned murder. That's all.
You know,
they have to answer. The government, the Chief Minister has to answer. He just can't keep mum.
Absolutely. And I just want to point out that over 60 people have been injured. They're all in hospital. And some of them may be serious, and the death toll may change over the next couple of days. Chandra Bhushan is the Deputy Director of CSC. Mr. Bhushan, I have a question for you. Sterlite Copper, which is the company in question here, which started its factory in 1994 and has run into all kinds of trouble for the last 20 years, is owned by a company called Vedanta. Is it not true, Mr. Chandrabhushan, that Vedanta is the largest donator of political funding to both the BJP and the Congress?
Well, I can't answer that question. I don't know that. But what I do know that Vedanta is an irresponsible company. And this company has been found to flout environmental law wherever it has gone. It was in Orissa, Neyamgiri, where it was kicked out by tribals because it was flouting the environmental norms there. In Tuticorin, for 20 years, this company has flouted environmental norms. Supreme Court has fined it 100 crore rupees. High Court has closed it down. There are numerous reports of non-compliance that this company has done over the past 20 years. You know, this entire argument that the plant was not operating for the past few months and therefore there shouldn't have been a protest is actually a very weak argument, simply because people were protesting against the plan for expansion. People have seen how this plant has polluted the environment. They are worried that if this plant expands more, it will pollute more. And therefore, there is no relationship between what has happened in the last 1 month and the protest right now. This protest is a result of 20 years of flouting of environmental norm and pollution of the environment by this company. This is a very, very irresponsible company that we are dealing with.
And one more question, Chandrabhushan, before I take the panel, bring the panel back into this. The last 20 years of repeated violations, including the poisoning of water and air, a gas leak that made their own citizens unwell, where we saw the Tamil Nadu Electricity Board employees get unwell, the All India Radio employees get unwell. This happened through the course of both the DMK and the AIDMK being in power in the state, and the Congress and the BJP being in power in the center. Is that not true?
That's absolutely fine. I do not think that this company has changed when the dispensations have changed. The company has remained irresponsible when Congress was there, when BJP was there, when AIDMK was there, and when DMK was there. As I said, there's a fundamental problem with this company. Currently, this company is in controversy in Chhattisgarh as well. And this company has a habit of cutting corners. It has done it in the past. For example, when this plant was set up in 1996, it submitted a faulty EIA report. It lied to the regulators that it is located far away from an ecologically sensitive area. The very basis of setting off of this plant is based on falsehood. And therefore, what has happened today is a culmination of built up of pressure for the past 20 years.
Absolutely. I'm going to bring the other members of my panel back in again. Mr. Muralidharan, Vedanta is a massive donator to political parties. Yes. Is that why the state government is sparing him?
Yes. No, I don't think they're favoring him. That's also when I said radicalization, that is radicalization is one. Vedanta being a big donator to both the parties is one. So you add it up, what happens then? Second,
no, you add it up. You tell me what happens. I know that 13 people
Indian
die.
Company. It's a British company.
It's a British company. Run by whom? Who runs this company? Who runs this company, Mr.
Why are they trying to throw them out?
Run by Indians.
Now,
are you seriously telling me Vedanta is a British company?
Let's go back to 2010. Yeah, 2010, it was shut down by the Madras High Court. It was reopened by Supreme Court next. Then it was also vouched by the National Green Tribunal. Why are you just pointing finger only at AIDMK? DMK reopened them in 2009. And the biggest contractors is one Ms. Geeta, who's an ex-MLA of DMK, and Mr. Vaiko's family members. So why are we not talking about those politicians and those parties?
Okay.
It's a collective failure, Faye. I admit. Amma wanted to shut it down in 2013, which was very clear. It is a collective failure of this getting prolonged. But if you have to point fingers, you should point fingers at Supreme Court, who made them get away with a 100 crore fine. Why would you put a fine? If everything is illegal about them, why did they put a fine? That means they have not conform to certain standards. That's the reason they put a fine.
So tell me
We
something.
need to
So tell me
analyze all
something,
that.
Mr.
So
Muralidharan.
that's why it
Mr.
has taken
Muralidharan, you're
20
very
years.
calmly
But
right
this
now
had
blaming
nothing to
everybody
do-
else but yourself.
Yes.
Who gave the order to shoot citizens in the head? Who gave the order
We
to
take the
use an assault?
responsibility.
You
I
take
think the
the
government should take
AIDMK
the
takes the responsibility.
responsibility.
How come
Faye,
the chief
with-
minister hasn't gone to Tuticorin to meet these
Should
people?
take the
Where is the
responsibility.
chief minister of Tamil Nadu? Where is he?
They are in power. I'll answer that,
No
Faye.
doubt about the
I'll
fact
answer
that they think
Political
they are in
leaders
power.
like Rajiv Gandhi and Stalin.
What? Where is the chief minister of Tamil Nadu right now?
The AIDMK takes full responsibility. Let me tell you, Faye, that the government should take full responsibility because it has happened during their tenure. One. Second, people like Rahul Gandhi and Stalin, Mr. Stalin, are making sweeping statements when the people are grieving. There is a protest and the city of Tuticorin is burning and you are aggravating it. People like Kamal Hassan are visiting there and visiting
At least he
hospitals,
visited. The chief
and
minister
it's
hasn't
being
visited
played
yet.
again and
Mr.
again
Ram,
by
do you want
so
to
many
respond to
media
this?
channels.
I can't get a straight answer from
No,
anybody.
you're provoking
All
the
they want to
people.
talk about is a blame
if
game
you-
with each other. It's appalling.
If you want to bring riots down,
How about
It's
you
like
don't
the
shoot
Kashmir.
people? If you want to bring riots down, don't shoot people, Mr. Muralidharan.
No,
Mr.
you
Ram,
don't-
please.
Yes, I agree. I agree,
think
Faye.
it
I
is-
absolutely agree with you.
Let
But
Mr.
if
Ram
you have
speak.
to bring down a mob, if you have to bring down a riot situation, you have to cut off communication. That is the only way, and that's how it's done in Kashmir. That's how we are able to
Tamil
keep
Nadu is
Kashmir
not
alive for
Kashmir.
so many
Come
years.
on, Mr. Muralidharan. I'm going
we
to
have to
stop
cut
you
off
there.
communication.
That's completely
By
out of
delaying
line.
these videos
Stop that.
again and again, we are
Stop that.
instigating-
Tamil
I
Nadu
think
is
we-
a peaceful place. It is not currently a conflict zone. It is not Kashmir, and
Why
that
don't
is
you
not
let
a
it
fair
used to be,
comparison.
Faye.
Mr.
It
Enram
used
will
to be-
speak now. I want to hear Mr. Enram speaking, please. Mr. Enram will
It
speak now.
used to be till the Jallikattu happened. It used to be
No,
till
no.
Jallikattu happened.
Stop that.
Ever since Jallikattu,
Stop
you talk
that. You
about
are
meat
insulting
protest,
every
you talk about
citizen of
Anita
your
protest,
state and my state right
methane,
now. Stop
you
that.
talk about anything.
No, 1 second. Mr. Ram, is that fair at all?
Even Kaveri is a protest.
I think what he said is full of holes. The opposition has done very well to respond immediately to this, to highlight the issues. And all credit to Mr. Stalin, all other leaders, the left leaders, Vaiko, and Congress also. I think it's good. On the one hand, they're fixing responsibility where this government is not taking it. Secondly, the question is, why did the chief minister or the deputy chief minister not go there? Because and Kamal Hassan also, I think he did very well to go and express solidarity with the people, the injured people, as well as the relatives of those who have been murdered in cold blood. But no AIDMK leader is in sight because they dare not face the community. And what kind of government are you running here?
Absolutely, and I also want this response from Arun Ram. Arun Ram, Muralidharan just compared Tamil Nadu to Kashmir. It's a completely unfair comparison, and there's absolutely no justification for the way the police have behaved in the last 24 hours.
It is, you are driving it to Kashmir.
There is no comparison at all with Kashmir or any part of any disturbed part of the country. Tamil Nadu has been peaceful. It remains peaceful for other parts of the Tamil Nadu other than Tuticorin today and yesterday. So there is absolutely no comparison. But having said that, we should say that it should also be noted that the simmering discontent, the simmering trouble, could not be gauged by this government, by the intelligence, by the police. That's a fact. If you look at it, Tamil Nadu, ever since Jayalalitha passed away, for more than a year, there have been several protests. The entire climate of the state had changed. There was tension, palpable tension across the state. If we take before right from Jallikattu, there have been hundreds of struggles, protests, small and big. Even today, yesterday, the police, for no reason, for the last 2-3 months for that matter, police have been cordoning off Marina Beach, of all places. They're not allowing people, peace-loving people, just people who want to go there, enjoy. They're not allowed on Marina Beach. So there is a palpable tension within the system. The police are aware of it, the government is aware of it. So there has been a sense of a semblance of an uneasiness which has been building up, and this government and police have not been able to act to prevent an outburst which was waiting to happen as it happened yesterday. I think there should be a thorough investigation on not just yesterday's incident, not just the police, the ways in which the police opened fire and killed 11 people, but also the way in which certain protests. There is reason for me to suspect that the way in which certain protests are being organized should also be closely looked at, or else we might be in for more surprises, which may not be very pleasant.
Vikram Singh, my question to you from Muralidharan's justification: if there are certain types of people in a crowd, does it give the police the right to fire?
Faye, I'm absolutely aghast and surprised
at the argument
given by Mr. Muralidharan.
I didn't say that.
The Tamil Nadu police is one of the most professional police officers, one of the most professional police forces in the country, of whom the largest number of instructors in the National Police Academy are from Tamil Nadu Police, because of the professionalism and because of the no-nonsense approach. The very fact that the same Tamil Nadu Police sat as silent spectators to a situation, whereas they have it in them to identify the troublemakers, neutralize them and send them behind the bars. This kind of a knee-jerk reaction never happens, not even in Bihar and Uttar Pradesh. And to expect this kind of an irresponsible behavior in Tuticorin and Tamil Nadu, I'm really aghast at the circumstances. Firstly, no rule book permits that. Secondly, Tamil Nadu police is far too professional to allow a situation like that.
Well, look at the situation, Mr. Singh.
To isolate, identify and neutralize any troublemaker.
Mr. Singh, look at the situation. This is a protest that has been on for 100 days. The protesters asked for permission to protest in front of the collector's house, which means the collector and the superintendent were aware of the protest. They couldn't have missed it over 100 days. They knew they were going to march towards the collector's house. Section 144 had already been imposed, but a crowd of 1,500 swelled 4 or 5 times over, and the police found themselves with absolutely zero intelligence, perhaps even literally. And this is how they responded. Also, the person on top of the truck, Mr. Singh, was in mufti. He was in plain clothes. Now, are the police allowed to approach a mob in plain clothes?
No way. Firstly, you should have been more proactive. I expected the police and the local administration to be proactive, to be sensitive even to the smallest combat indicator, the smallest sign of disturbance. And any preventive arrest made? I don't think any preventive arrests were made. Any recovery of illegal weapons? I don't think any. You were just a silent spectator watching the events to unfold. And have a sniper in plain clothes going on a battle crouch, aiming at the solar plexus, aiming in between the eyes and shooting to kill. What rule book gives you the authority? It does not happen even. Comparison should be between comparables, Mr. Muralidhar. Comparison should be between comparables. There is no comparison between Kashmir and Tamil Nadu, yet this does not happen even in Kashmir or the northeast. I have seen the disturbed areas in the whole of the country, but never have I seen a situation like this where a sniper goes up and shoots at will.
Absolutely.
That is a very, very unsound comparison. That is just uncalled for, sir. And as I said, comparison should be between comparables. Even that comparison is flawed and faulty, sir. With the greatest of respect to you, sir, Tamil Nadu is an oasis of peace, as Faye has said. And let us pray that it continues to be an oasis of peace. For the fault of the DM and the SP for sleeping, for playing the fiddle when Rome was burning, I had expected better capabilities and better officer-like qualities from the All India Service Officers, not like this something happening for 100 days, 144 CRPC.
C.R. Saraswati, go ahead, please.
Yes, I am really shocked to hear the word from Mr. Muralidharan, belongs to Tamil Nadu, comparing Tamil Nadu with Kashmir. I am very proud to say our Tamil Nadu is one of the best states, the best and the best state in India. When Amma was alive, how was the government here? What happened? It was so quiet and calm. This is one thing I'm telling you. This is the minority government run by OPS and EPS. BJP slave government. They have failed to protect the people. They failed in the government. They have to step down immediately. How can they blame the people? How can you blame Tamil Nadu? Mr. Muralidharan is telling you cut all the connections. Why? What happened in Tamil Nadu? They are fighting for the rights. They are fighting for the rights. They are not terrorists. The government, first of all, the Chief Minister must answer. Who gave them, till this minute, why they are not opening the mouth? Who gave the permission? What is the question of transferring the collector and the police officials? Who gave the permission to shoot on the people? What police must do? They have a lot of ways to control. First of all, when the protest started, they must have stopped the people there itself. They led them for 5 kilometers. When they came near the collector office, everyone knows the collector is not there in the office. What will happen if the people goes and sits in the collector office? Are they having bomb in the hand? Are they having weapons in their hand? They are just walking with the children. The ladies are walking. The children are walking. The church fathers are walking. They never had any weapons in the hand. Why should they stop there? Why should they make all this problem? And first of all, you have no rights to shoot on the people. Like you have to shoot up on the sky or beyond the knee. And you have many other ways, or at least rubber bullets,
yes,
plastic bullets.
Yes. Yes,
Killing
I
understand.
Innocent we've made all of those points. I have viewers on the phone line I want to bring in at this point, and it's very true. I agree that the Chief Minister must be held accountable for something like this. This cannot just be a mistake that you wrap up on the collectors and the superintendent's level. Brigadier Vijay Kumar on the phone line from Noida. I'm sorry for keeping you holding so long. Brigadier Kumar, go on, please.
Thank you. I fully agree with the ex-DGP of UP, Mr. Vikram Singh.
Yes.
Do we have a different laws and rules of protesters in different states? Like militants and protesters can never be compared. J&K, Tamil Nadu can never be compared. I remember from 1995 to 98, we in army fought with our hands tied behind our backs, because we were told to first apprehend the militants and then hand over to police. That is not possible, of course, in other states. Now, why was the intelligence failed? Why did the intelligence fail?
Yes. Why did the intelligence fail? That's a very good question. It's a question we've been asking, and we expect the Chief Minister to respond. Nigel on the phone line from Bangalore. Nigel, go ahead.
Yeah, good evening, Faye.
Good evening.
First of all, let me give my condolences to the people of Uttarikut on behalf of the people of Karnataka. This is a despicable act, what the police have done. And what I'm also disturbed is that comparing J&K with Tamil Nadu, I think this is an absurd comment. You cannot make comparison and label everybody as
it's not a comparison. Tamil Nadu is becoming J&K.
It cannot. It cannot become J&K. That is not an excuse. And even if your government, Mr. Muralidharan, decides by the end of tomorrow that you're going to come up with some conspiracy theory that somebody infiltrated the mob and someone came in and created trouble, that still doesn't give you the right to shoot at them. This is not Syria. We don't shoot our own citizens. So it doesn't matter what the political conviction of the person in the crowd was. You do not have the right to stand on top of the truck, take aim with a rifle and shoot people in the head. So I don't know what excuse you people are going to cook up overnight and come back with about infiltration, about certain people coming in, about whether or not these people are behaving like they're from Kashmir. But with all due respect to the people of Kashmir as well, you are not allowed to shoot at citizens of India. I don't know if you need me to say it in a different language, but you have to be able to tell me why the Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu is not apologizing and then resigning tonight. Where is he? Where is the Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu? What is he doing? What can be more important than this?
The actions were taken by an IAS officer and an IPS officer. Now, are you trying to say that these people are not qualified to do their job?
Yes.
Or they are not qualified to take a decision?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Whatever decision was taken on the field belongs to these two people.
No, that's not true.
They have to answer.
No, that's not true.
Answer. Once again, let me correct you. I never said Tamil Nadu is Kashmir. I am telling you, they were trying to make it another Kashmir. How did the stone pelting happen here? They sent the women in front and they were pelting stone from the back, just like Kashmir. Now, where did they learn that from? And who are these people?
So where did you learn to shoot at citizens?
So why don't we wait for the
Where did you learn to shoot at citizens? So you're telling me if the protesters behave like they're in Kashmir, you will respond like you're in Syria? Where did you learn your response from? Syria? Iraq? Where did you learn your response from?
No, I don't think so. But why did they take a decision to shoot them? Let the IAS and the
Mr.
highest,
Muralidharan, here's the question for you, Mr. Muralidharan. Mr. Muralidharan, okay, fine. Let's assume the IAS officer took the call and you've now transferred him. So problem solved. How happy for all of us. Now, there was a protest on in Tuticorin for the last 100 days.
No, there is an enquiry happening.
You're not even listening to my question. There was a protest on. There was
happening.
Mr. Muralidharan. There was a protest on in Tuticorin for the last 100 days.
Yes.
Did the Chief Minister respond to that protest? Did he give instructions to the people on the ground? Did he find out what his own citizens were protesting against?
The Chief Minister ensured the factory is shut.
That is not true. That is not true. One second. I'm going to ask my producer. One second. Stop lying, Mr. Muralidharan, because the CEO of the company spoke to us today and said the factory is shut for maintenance and it will open in a month's time. You want me to play that out for you? Shall we play that out?
Yes, yes.
That he would.
Yes. They
No.
are not shut.
Yeah, you play that off for me. I don't have a problem. But there's only 150 workers whose houses were set fire yesterday.
You're changing the goalposts. You're not able to answer any of the questions I'm asking you. Chandrabhushan,
Vedanta can say whatever they like. Vedanta can say whatever they like. But there's a fact.
What is the fact?
You cannot keep a factory
are you doing
shut
maintenance in the
forever
factory?
because you
Is
need to do
the
some
Chief
maintenance
Minister
or it will become junk.
one second. Stop.
Any factory. That's
What, the
logical.
Chief Minister is painting the factory?
It's
What is he
logical.
doing?
1,500
What is the
people,
Chief Minister
only 150 are working, doing maintenance. Pardon?
Listen to me, Mr. Muralidharan, listen to me.
Chief Minister has ensured this factory is shut.
1 second, stop, first
What
of
are
all.
you saying, Faye?
You're not even listening to my question. Mr. Muralidharan, did the Chief Minister inquire about the situation of the protest on the ground? Did he give instructions to the people on the ground as to how to handle the protest over the last 100 days? Yes or no?
Last 100 days.
Yes, the protest has been on for 100
Yes,
days.
Faye.
So then it is his fault. If he gave instructions,
everything.
on how to handle the protest and these people decided to shoot, then it is the Chief Minister's fault. Because A, he could have not known about, he cannot turn around and say he didn't know about this protest. So it is his fault. Mr. Ram, there is no way that the Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu can wiggle out of this one.
2018 elections, so he ordered the shooting. So can he dug his own grave? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
Mr. Ram, please.
2019 elections, he dug his own grave by shooting his own people?
It certainly looks like it.
Is that what you're trying to say?
It certainly looks like it.
Why would somebody do this, Faye? Why would somebody shoot their own people? Why would somebody shoot their own people? Now that's where the problem is.
Political donations?
Why are we
I don't
not
know.
understanding the issue end to end?
Mr. Ram, let me, one second.
One second,
Mr. Ram, before I come to you, I just want to, one second, gentlemen. I just want to present some evidence before my audience. It is true that as per the ADR, on research done by the ADR, 2014 election year, among the top corporate funders for both the Congress and the BJP, Vedanta, that owns Sterlite Copper, was a funder for both parties. It is one of the strongest funders for both parties, including the BJP. Also, listen to what the Sterlite Copper CEO said today. Atrocious statement. Listen.
What happened yesterday was totally unfortunate and uncalled for, even though we had taken steps to impose Section 144. And the police and collector had also called for a peace meeting, but unfortunately only one of the factions agreed to what they had to say and kept away from any violent protests. But the other faction, they took matters in their own hands and they started attacking the police, collectorate, and damaged a lot of vehicles and property. And even our own township was attacked and a lot of employee vehicles were burnt. So there was total lawlessness, and definitely there was an infiltration of a number of nefarious elements who had their own interests, and therefore it took a violent turn. So, in fact, we had expected it to be peaceful given the imposition of Section 144 and the efforts made by the police and collectorate. But it has been unfortunate. It's a completely wrong impression that the protesters have been giving the general public, and they've been spreading canards and false information. In fact, the last several years, the plant has been functioning in complete compliance to all the environmental norms. And currently, the plant has been shut down for regular maintenance for the last 2 months. And so there was absolutely no reason for them to start this kind of protest. And there was no trigger for them to do it. So therefore, clearly they have been incited by some nefarious elements.
Mr. Ram, Mr. N. Ram. Now here's the interesting thing. The CEO of Sterlite Copper believes he took steps to impose Section 144. So does Sterlite Copper run the law and order system in Tuticorin? Secondly, he says nefarious elements came in. And thirdly, he says it's shut for regular maintenance. So either Mr. Muralidharan has his facts all wrong, or Sterlite Copper is running a parallel law and order system in Tuticorin.
This is exactly what I was saying at the outset.
I can get you the press report, Faye.
One second, Mr. Muralidharan, I want to hear what Mr. Ram has to say. Mr. Ram, please go ahead.
Yeah, there's a complete identity of interest between the local system, the bureaucracy, the police, and the government backing them. That's what comes out in this. And it's easy to blame some unknown conspirators. Some even said foreign elements and so on earlier. Now radicals have come in, Naxals and so on. It's outrageous, this kind of defending the indefensible. Let them admit that was a lawless act, that was a criminal act, that was murder that we saw in the video, and several other incidents of this. Yes, there was some violence on the other side, and people who are, you know, when nobody takes notice of a protest, the temperature goes up. Everybody knows it. And so no use blaming people who are agitated over what is happening. This is a company that has violated laws, environmental laws, has been fined by the Supreme Court. It's not answerable to anyone. But the point here is they are hand in glove. There is a nexus, which is why the police act as though they are the police of the Sterlite Copper in that area. That's what comes out. What's the use of saying, let's wait for an inquiry, because you think people will forget what's happened? This is not going to go away.
Chandrabhushan, is the police behaving that they're not the police of the state, but the police of Sterlite Copper?
You know, I completely agree with what Ram said, that it seems like the administration and the company were hand in glove. There has been a lot of allegation against company previously also of using, you know, high-handed behavior to protesters a few years back as well. As I said, that you know, we are dealing with a company which has a habit of cutting corners. But I want to bring in another aspect here, is that there is responsibility of Pollution Control Board as well as Ministry of Environment and Forest with what is happening, to what happened 2 days back and today in Tuticorin.
Yes.
Ministry of Environment must take responsibility for giving environmental clearance to a plant which does not deserve environmental clearance.
Absolutely.
And even entertaining the idea of expansion should have been done.
Yes. So I just...
And Tamil Nadu Pollution Control Board,
which is state government,
is
Chandra,
toothless and weak. That's why we are seeing these things today.
Which is why we're seeing what is happening. Tamil Nadu State Pollution Board and Tamil Nadu Ministry of Environment reports to the Tamil Nadu government. So over the several years, various governments, AIADMK and DMK, have looked the other way and given licenses to a company that perhaps didn't deserve licenses. But what we need to focus on is what happened yesterday when the police behaved like they were protecting the company and not the people. One must wonder why. The writing is on the wall. This is a company that does enjoy a great deal of political goodwill from giving donations to political parties. Is that why? The police turned their guns at the innocent, dragged them by the foot, kicked them, got on top of trucks and shot people in the chest and the face, instead of doing what the law prescribes that they do: issue warnings and protect citizens. The police not just overstepped, but they massacred the citizens of Tuticorin. And there is only one person who should pay, and that is the Chief Minister of the state, because there is no situation under which the Chief Minister cannot be held responsible. This was a protest that was going on for 100 days. Everybody knew of this protest, or should have known of this protest if they were doing their jobs. They knew that the protest would escalate. The Chief Minister should have taken stock of the situation, should have given instructions to the people on the ground. So there are only two options here for the Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu. Option number one, he failed to take stock and he failed to give instructions, in which case he really needs to quit his job. Option number two, he took stock, he gave instructions, and these are the instructions that he gave. Shoot the people. In which case, not only should he step down, but he should be held responsible for the murder of 13 citizens. The people of Tamil Nadu want their state back. And the state is unfortunately tied up in dirty, despicable, cheap politics. It's looking to fill the vacuum. After Jayalalitha passed away, each of them wants a slice of the pie, and as a result, they are cutting it up into pieces that are so small that there'll be nothing left. Politics cannot take precedence over people's lives. Either do your job or get out. Nobody needs you. Thanks for watching.